Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Friday. Welcome to Peter's Movie Club. So for those of you that haven't watched any of my other channels or didn't watch my video over here yesterday, I am currently in Las Vegas, Nevada. I know it doesn't look like that. It looks like I'm in my bedroom because it's actually Wednesday and I am pre-filming this video. I wanted to get this video done before we went on vacation because I wanted to make sure that my weight loss update was done for yesterday and that the movie club was done for today. Because I want to make sure that I keep it on track and I keep on going and all that kind of stuff. So I'm pre-filming some videos today for the time that we're gone. So anyway, okay, so welcome to Peter's Movie Club. If you've never been over here before, Peter's Movie Club is where every week I get on video and I pick a movie that we're going to all watch together for the upcoming week. And it is a movie that has some kind of nostalgic response in my life. So they could be stupid movies, funny movies, deep movies, emotional movies. It could be all kinds of movies, but they have some kind of like, they give me some kind of memory or something, like have some kind of memory in my life, right? So they're nostalgic movies for me. And then I also react to the movie from the week before. All the movies that I am picking over here, or all the movies I picked so far, are from the streaming app Tubi. No, this is not sponsored by Tubi. I wish it was. But Tubi is a streaming app that is free. It's available in Mexico, the United States, Canada, the UK, and other parts of Europe right now. And the reason that I picked it is because I wanted to make it a free streaming app that was available to all people because a lot of people will be like, well, I have Netflix, but I don't have Max, I have Apple, but I don't have this. And so I wanted to make it a streaming app that everybody could use. That being said, most of the movies that I'm picking, you can find other places. Many times you can find them on YouTube. So I just want to put that out there as well. Okay, so the movie that I picked for last week was the Martin Scorsese film After Hours. And this was a movie that I absolutely loved when I was growing up as a kid. Let me pull this up really quick on Tubi. I'm pulling up my Tubi right now, if you can see. So this was a movie that I loved as a kid. Like in high school is, I think, when I found it. I feel like it came out probably when I was in high school. Let me see. I don't remember what year it came out. It came out in 1985. So I would have been 13 years old. I feel like I did not watch it until I was like in high school is probably when I first found this movie. I was kind of like into like cult classic movies, which I mean, this would have only been 3 or 4 years old at that time, but it was very different. It felt very independent, film and that kind of stuff. So this is a synopsis for it. It calls it a meet cute. We didn't even know what a meet cute was in 1985. So whoever wrote that, okay, that's not. A meet cute between a Midtown word processor and a wild Soho woman ends in a Kafkaesque nightmare, a BDSM, suicide, and a Mr. Softy truck chase. So that's kind of what it's about. Really what it's about is that Griffin Dunn plays a word processor in New York City, and he's bored with his life, okay? What's interesting about when I started watching this movie was that one of my all-time favorite movies, if it was on Tubi, we would watch it. It's called Into the Night with Michelle Pfeiffer and Jeff Goldblum. Around the same time that I would have been watching this movie was when I started watching Into the Night. That became one of my favorite movies. Into the Night is about Jeff Goldblum he's like an aerospace engineer, and he is bored with his life and is talking to, I can't remember who it is, I think it's Dan Aykroyd or somebody like that, and it tells him that if you're bored with your life, go to Las Vegas for the night, take the red eye, gamble, hook up with somebody, I think he says get a hooker or something like that, and then fly back the next morning and your life will be straight. So that night, he's talking about how he can't sleep because he's so bored with his life. He thinks his wife is cheating on him and all this kind of stuff. So in the middle of the night, he goes to the airport. He never goes anywhere because Michelle Pfeiffer comes running out of the airport being chased by these guys because she smuggled out of Iran these 6 perfect emeralds. I've seen this movie so many times. I mean, literally, I know like the whole script. And so it's them driving all over Los Angeles for her trying to figure out who she can sell these emeralds to. And it's like this huge, like, I mean, they're like running all over Los Angeles and all this kind of stuff. And I love this movie so much. What's interesting to me when I started watching After Hours the other night, because I actually watched it, I can't remember, like 2 nights ago, because I was like, I got to get this done before I go on vacation, and I also want to watch it earlier in the week, right? What was weird about watching After Hours was the concept is kind of similar. It's about these guys that are bored with their lives, and so they go seek out excitement. And I thought, what was wrong with me in like 8th or 9th grade? I mean, was I so looking to escape? Probably. I mean, I was horribly bullied in school and stuff like that. I was probably looking for any escape route, you know, out. It was interesting because I love the movies like Romancing the Stone. You know, Romancing the Stone is with like, you know, Kathleen Turner, and she writes this novel, and then she goes to find her sister in Colombia and stuff like that. They're all very similar concepts, you know? And so it was interesting watching this movie. I will say this. Okay, first of all, I always ask myself at the end of the movie, would you watch this movie again? Yes, I would watch this movie again. I will say I didn't love it as much as I remembered loving it, but it had a lot of people in it that I love. It had Catherine O'Hara from Schitt's Creek. Well, you guys would probably know her from Schitt's Creek. I know her from like the Christopher Guest movies, like Best in Show and Waiting for Guffman and things like that. That's how I originally found Catherine O'Hara. And she'd been working with Eugene Levy for years in those movies and Second City and stuff like that. And so she's in it. Terry Garr is in it. John Hurt is in it. And Griffin Dunn is the star. And it also has one of my favorite songs of life, Peggy Lee, Is That All There Is at the end of the movie. So it's about this guy, and he goes to this like diner, this coffee diner, and he meets Rosanna Arquette, who's also like, I love like Patricia and Rosanna Arquette. Desperately Seeking Susan is probably one of my favorite movies, which is on this list, by the way. So he goes there and he meets her, and they're talking about a book, and Henry Miller's Tropic of Cancer, and like she gives him she says, do you want to buy a plaster of Paris bagel and cream cheese paperweight, because her roommate's an artist. And so he's like, yeah, sure. I mean, it's so bizarre from the get-go, you know? And so he goes home, and then he calls for this bagel and cream cheese paperweight, but he ends up talking to Rosanna Arquette, and she's like, well, why don't you just come down here? So he goes to Soho, but on the way down there, the cab ride is so erratic that his money blows out the window and he has no money. So he gets to Soho, and he's stuck down there. And so it's him meeting all of these different people, like Terry Garr, that's a waitress in this bar that John Hurt is bartending. And, I mean, and she's got like a beehive, and she listens to like the Monkees and stuff like that. And this woman that's a conceptual artist that works in this bar. And then the artist that does the bagel and cream cheese paperweights and stuff like that. And that's who Rosanna Arquette is working with. Which, by the way, one of my other favorite movies and when I was younger was called Gotcha. I don't know if you guys remember this movie, but it was about this guy who ends up he falls in love with this woman, and he goes to Berlin, and he finds out that she's a spy. Well, it was the woman that played the artist in this. She was like real big at that time. I don't know what her name is, but anyway. So he goes down there to meet Rosanna Arquette, and then she gets real upset with him. It's really bizarre. Like, she's got all these books about being a burn victim, and he's like confused, and he's like nervous, and so he tries to run out. When he runs out because they get into like this fight, he comes back to apologize to her. And when he goes in to apologize to her, he finds that she's like taken her life. And so he's like at that point like freaking out. At the same time that all this stuff is going on, there's a burglar in the neighborhood that's robbing all these apartments. And so they think it's him. And so he's on the run, and all these people are trying to get him and whatever. And so finally, this woman with the Peggy Lee, Is That All There Is? Well, I didn't know this. I thought she played the song. He puts the song actually on in a jukebox, and then they're dancing, and then she paper maches them together like this. And then Cheech and Chong are in it too. So they're the burglars, actually. And so at the very end, like, they steal him as this piece of art from the basement. All these people are looking for him. And then the van, like, doors open, and he pops out, like, all like this. And when he pops out, like, it breaks open, and he comes out. The next morning, as the doors to his business open, he walks back up into his office and he starts his day. I mean, it's so kind of hilarious because, I don't know, it's just like you sought excitement, but maybe you should have just stayed right in front of your word processor. I loved it. I love that the ensemble cast that was in it so much. And somebody said to me, they said, I love that you picked this movie because this is like one of the lesser known Martin Scorsese movies. In all honesty, I didn't even know before somebody said that to me that it was a Martin Scorsese film. But I did love this film. I will say, like I said, what was my intro supposed to be for movie club? Another week, another movie. But it wasn't as good as I remember thinking it was good. I remember thinking it was weirder. It was actually a lot like, I feel like all these movies that I'm watching, there's like this lull in the middle of it that's so boring. There's like the beginning and then there's the end. It's like Quick Change was the same way. And it's like the middle part is so boring. I found myself just kind of like sitting there watching it. I was like so bored. So anyway, got that one done. It was good. I mean, I'm glad I watched it. I would watch it again. I would watch it again, you know, like late at night if I didn't have anything else to watch. It's a fun late at night movie to watch. But the other thing I will say is, I remember it being like really, really bizarre when I first watched it. Almost so bizarre that I was kind of afraid to pick it for this movie club. But when I watched it, I was like, it's bizarre, but it's not as bizarre as I thought it was. So that brings me to this week's movie for Peter's Movie Club. And I really wanted to, because we're going to be in Las Vegas, I wanted to pick something that had a Vegas vibe to it. And so I was like, okay, let me look up the Ocean's movies, because I love like Ocean's 11, Ocean's 13. I love all those movies. Those movies, the old one, I think, is on Tubi, the original, but not the new ones with like Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts and George Clooney. Those aren't over there. And then I wanted to do Miss Congeniality. I actually had it on my list because that takes place in Vegas too. But that is currently gone from Tubi. It'll probably be back in a week or two, but it's currently gone from Tubi. So I was like, I don't know what movie that I'm going to pick. And so I happened to be scrolling through Tubi a couple nights ago, and Showgirls was on there. I was like, oh my God, this is so perfect. Showgirls is literally like the worst, best Vegas movie in the entire world. So if y'all don't know about Showgirls, that's the movie for this week. Let me read to you about Showgirls really quick. It's got the girl, I can't remember her name now, from Saved by the Bell. Hold on a second. I had it pulled up here. Showgirls on Tubi. But I will tell you who it has in here is Gina Gershon, who is like one of my favorite actresses of life. I love Gina Gershon. Is it Berkeley? What's her name? Something Berkeley. Elizabeth Berkley, Gina Gershon, and Kyle MacLachlan, who is in all the Twin Peaks and all the David Lynch movies. So it says in here, the synopsis is, an aspiring Las Vegas showgirl works as a stripper in order to claw her way in the world using sex and seduction to get what she wants. So if you guys don't remember this movie, okay, this was Elizabeth Berkley. This is kind of like, you know how like JoJo Siwa is trying to break out of her mold? This was Elizabeth Berkley. I need to remember this for a drama video. This was like Elizabeth Berkley trying to break out of her mold of Saved by the Bell. And so I think she played Jessie. She did play Jessie on Saved by the Bell. And so she does this movie where she's like a stripper, and she moves to Las Vegas, and she's like living in a trailer or something, and she's got this roommate, and then this guy like assaults her. Like one of the best scenes in this movie is when she goes and kicks the shit out of this guy. Do you guys remember that movie? Guys. But she goes and she's like doing all these like high kicks and these like knee-high boots and stuff like that. It's like the most fantastic scene in the entire world. But she wants to be like on a Vegas show, and Gina Gershon is the star of this show. And so she really wants to be like that. And Gina Gershon says something to her at some point about the girl that's the last one standing is the one that gets the part, or something like that. And so at one point, towards the end, I do remember this. There's a lot about this movie I don't remember. I remember her going, did you guys remember that? And her name being on the billboard and all that kind of stuff, and she eventually leaves Las Vegas. I know I'm ruining this for you, but there's so much more to this movie. But anyway, to get the part in this show, she like throws these beads off of a gown onto the ground, and Gina Gershon, like, she trips and falls, and then she's in the hospital. And then she goes to visit her in this stupid looking cowboy hat, Elizabeth Berkley, and then she gets her part. And do you guys remember this? Okay, so I have not seen this movie. I don't know, what year did this movie come out? It has been so long since I've seen this movie. Oh my God, this movie, it came out in 1995. It came out the year after I got sober. This movie is so bad, it's good, okay? Like, I mean, it's like, the acting is, the only person that's worth seeing in this movie is Gina Gershon. I can remember Kyle MacLachlan's hair is like, it's like really, really bad. It's like this, he keeps on doing like this thing through it the whole time. But Gina Gershon, I think she's so gorgeous, and I love her so much. Actually, I have a friend of mine that back in the day, he's a doctor today, but back in the day, he had lived in Los Angeles, and then he wanted to live on both coasts before he settled down. And so he lived on the West Coast, and then he moved to New York, and then after New York, he moved back to Indiana to go to medical school. But, this is, why is this starting? No, 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 no. Okay, so back in the day, and we dated for a short, brief period of time. We're just really, really good friends today. So anyway, he worked in this gift shop, okay, in this like small area of New York, and I'll never forget him calling me. He'll be like, you have no idea who came in today. And I was like, who? And he was like, Gina Gershon. And I was like, what? And he was like, I said, tell me everything about it. Don't leave anything out. And so my friends and I back in the day, we loved her so much. So I'm excited to watch this movie again. Not so much for Elizabeth Berkley, but she is so fantastically bad. This is like literally the movie that killed her career. So I think she's trying to like revamp her career now. But anyway, if you've never seen Showgirls, you got to see it. And I'm really excited to watch it. I think I'm going to watch it on the plane out to Vegas. So anyway, let me know. I actually looked it up because I can't download shows on Tubi to watch on the plane. Okay, hold on. I can't download. So I looked up to see where else you can watch it. And I think it's available. I looked it up. Hold on, I screenshot it. I looked it up, and I think it's available on Max. Hold on a second. Where is it at? Here, is this it? No, that's my movie for Shark Movie Club. I think it's available on Max, and it's available other places as well. So the movie for this week is Showgirls. Let me know if you're going to watch in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.